Hi, my name is Rachel Taylor. I am a friend of Forrest and Nicole, and I was given the opportunity to do a little video and talk about something that I think is really important and powerful in this time when everything seems a little crazy. So, as I'm filming this, I have been in quarantine since March 17th. So it's been about a month of nothing. And it's really, for me, frustrating. It's been rough. I've had to adapt to living with my parents again as a 26-year-old. I don't think many people my age or around my age want to go from living on their own at college to living with their parents again. I love them. I love helping and supporting them in any way I can, but I also like my own apartment and my own life. I've had to deal with that transition, but also the transition of the cats. I love my parents' cats. One of them has claimed me as his own, but I also have an allergy. So he'll cuddle with me at night and we'll be all loving and he'll be purring. It'll be amazing. And then my eyes will begin to itch and water and I'll start to sneeze. And it's like, oh my gosh, beauty. What is this? Beauty over pain situation. I don't know, because the cat's so beautiful, but my eyes itch so bad. And anyway, it's been a rough transition. Not even just that, but just not being able to go out whenever I want to. A lot of us, I think most of us, there's no work, there's no school, there is no grocery shopping, there is no church. I have a lot of anxiety with grocery shopping, eating out in public at a restaurant, but I really want to do both those things right now. I want to have the longest grocery list ever and just go and get everything I need instead of ordering online or doing short, really quick trips with my masks and my hand sanitizer. I want to just really be able to go outside and run a quick errand if I need to. I don't want to have to run out of milk for my cereal and then have to plan this whole big trip to just go get milk because I have to have a mask and I have to have hand sanitizer and I have to do all these things that are being recommended by the government so that I and my family stay safe. And there's also another element that I don't think is being talked about very often by a lot of people, and that's the challenge of being mentally ill or taking care of your mental health while you're stuck at home. I know for myself and a lot of people, I have gone quite a while without a therapy session. And as someone who goes weekly, it's been really tough. It's also been a fear of, okay, how do I get my prescriptions filled? And even people who maybe don't have a mental illness and don't typically struggle with mental health, being home all day with kind of a lack of a regular routine is going to be challenging. There's also the general external source of anxiety. I feel like the whole world is having one big panic attack. And that's hard. Mental health is not something we like to talk about too often. And sometimes I find it so hard to just function. And we're talking about the challenges of the lack of finances or the very real pandemic with people's physical health, but there's also the mental health. And it really makes me think of this image that I found. I have been spending too much time on social media, again, because I wake up, I do schoolwork, I help out around the house, and then at night I just scroll through Instagram, through Twitter. I don't even go on Twitter that often, but I have started going on Twitter. I made a TikTok. I have not uploaded any videos. I will not upload videos, but I have one. And I've been spending too much time on social media. But I found this image and I think it's really powerful. And this image says, "This is your gentle reminder that one time in the Bible, Elijah was like, God, I'm so mad, I want to die. So God said, here's some food. Why don't you have a nap?" So Elijah slept, ate, and decided things weren't so bad. Never underestimate the spiritual power of a nap and a snack. And I think that is so great for a couple of reasons. Mainly because it speaks to this anger, but also this depression that Elijah was feeling, and really just is like a reminder to me, like, mental health was also a thing in the Bible. It may be, there wasn't a lot known about medicine in general at the time, but the people still recognized it. And I wanted to take a step back and do a really quick summary of Elijah and where this quote comes from. It comes from 1 Kings. And 1 Kings and 2 Kings is one big book that, when the Bible was put together, got split into two. And the quick version is that this is a hot mess. Everything's a hot mess. It is the story of Israel. It's after King David put all the tribes of Israel together into one kingdom. Since he's died, there's been a bunch of rulers that have not done a good job. And the temple's been built, but Israel has split in half into two kingdoms. And there was a lot of false gods being worshipped by kings and their wives. And so we have all this drama and war and craziness going on. It kind of sounds like our world right now. And that's when we start seeing all these prophets. And one of the most prominent prophet was Elijah. And his main enemy at the time is King Ahab and his wife Jezebel. And they've been fighting back and forth. There's been these big showdowns, and Elijah feels like his life is in danger. Jezebel has made a threat on his life. And so he runs into the wilderness and falls on his face on the ground and prays to God, please let me die. And I think that's really powerful, that a prophet from the Old Testament got to the point mentally where he wanted to die. He was mad. He was desperate. He was obviously depressed. And we see that God does not answer that prayer. But instead, Elijah falls asleep and he wakes up and there's bread and water for him. So he eats, he has some fluids, and he takes another nap. And then he wakes up again and goes back into Israel and continues to fight as a prophet. And I think that's really powerful, because God is almighty, but he also lets things happen in our lives that are challenging. He lets us get to this place where some of us can feel very broken and desperate and maybe even angry and think, what is the point of this? What is the point? God, can you tell me what the point is? Because I really don't understand right now. But he doesn't just do that and then walk away. He gives us food, he gives us water, he gives us rest. And maybe not literally, but he gives us steps so that we can get out of that hole that we're in and go back to living our lives for him. He doesn't abandon us. He didn't abandon Elijah. He provided what he needed. He let him take his time. And then he continued as a prophet. And I think that's really, really powerful. I think that's something people underestimate. I think it's something people don't realize about characters in the Bible. I think this story brings the humanness into the Old Testament, which for me personally, as someone majoring in ministry and studying the Bible right now for school, the Old Testament kind of intimidates me. It seems very big, and these people like Elijah and Elisha seem very powerful. But then I see this, I read it, and I see, yes, he had God's power on his side, but he was also human. And I think if we continue to believe in God, even during this craziness where I think a lot of people are feeling trapped and stuck in this wilderness, God is going to give us ways to get out of it. God doesn't make bad things happen, but I think he does allow bad things to happen so that we can grow But he doesn't just let them happen and then abandon us. He didn't abandon Elijah, and I don't think he will abandon us in this.